All right then, so last week Make released Make Agents, which has made building AI agents so much more streamlined within the Make platform. So as we can see here, I have this really simple scenario where I'm simply just monitoring my Gmail for commands to come in and piping that straight to a Make AI agent, which is then helping me do things such as drafting emails, booking meetings within my calendar, and generating LinkedIn posts. These agents are completely customizable. You can tie them into any scenario that you build, which has really made building these agentic systems really nice and clean within Make. What I'm going to show you today is how we can combine these Make agents with Trubrics to start to really track and analyze how our users are interacting with these Make agents. So for anyone who doesn't know, Trubrics is a product analytics platform specialized for AI agents. We essentially track the user and AI events occurring within your agentic application to help you start to understand exactly how the users are interacting with the AI agent and did the AI actually fulfill the user's intent or request. So as we can see here, we can identify successful or failed requests and intents, flag things such as out-of-scope prompts, as well as just give a more general understanding of how users are really engaging with the agentic application and what the top intents were. All of these analytics and insights are completely customizable. I'll provide another link which provides a more detailed demo of the platform capabilities. So let's get started. So to connect Trubrics to Make, what we want to do is be able to track the events occurring within our Make scenario. This might be things such as user prompts, as well as AI generations, as well as other actions which might be occurring within the scenario, such as tool calls. What we're going to focus on today is just purely tracking the user prompts and the final AI generation coming back from the agent. And to do this, we want to set up an HTTP request to send that data from Make to Trubrics. So first of all, if we just go to the Trubrics docs at docs.trubrics.com and head over to the API reference, we can see in here how to make a HTTP curl request to publish these LLM events, essentially tracking a prompt and generation from any application. So what we want to do is essentially replicate this within the Make scenario. So just heading back over to Make, we just add a HTTP module for make a request and connect that onto the end of the scenario. Then within here, all I have to do is pretty much just rebuild this curl request within Make. So first of all, let's copy this URL. Just to note here as well, we're using this publish LLM events as this sends a nice pair of a prompt and generation together. There's also the option for just to publish a regular event. This is for a single event, so this could be good for something like a tool call, or if you were building a wider application, this is typically used for things like button clicks or page views. So again, we're focusing on the publish LLM events. I'm going to take this URL, head back over to my Make workflow, paste that within this text box here at the top. I'm going to change this value from get to post because we're posting the data. Now within the headers, we just need to add in the X API key. And this is going to then link to our Trubrics API key, which we're going to grab from the platform. What's quite nice here is we don't need to add these other headers within the request, as these are already handled within the Make configuration. So just in here, I'm going to paste in X API key, and then I'm going to head over to my Trubrics platform, head to the settings page, and grab my API key from this text box here. It'll either be within the settings page, or if you've just signed up, you'll be seeing an onboarding page where you be presented this key as well. And I'm going to paste that key within the text box. Great, now working through this further, just going to head to body type, change this to raw, and the content type to a JSON. Now within request content, all we need to do is copy in the content of the curl request within the documentation. So here I'm going to copy everything from within inside the square brackets and paste that in. So what this here is essentially a payload of data which provides information about the events that we're tracking. So we can see here, for example, there's the template prompt and example generation. We also track things such as the user ID and the assistant ID as well. This property information is completely customizable. So if there's any custom metadata or properties that you want to track as well along with your events, you can do that within this properties field here. So what I'm going to do now is just work through these different fields and essentially update them, populate them with the data that's occurring within our workflow. So here, user ID, I'm going to change this to the sender name. So this is the name of the person who sent the initial command to the Make workflow. Assistant ID, I'm going to leave as GPT-4o, as that's what I'm currently using within the application. I can obviously tie this in with a variable if that's going to be changing. The prompt, I'm going to track in my text content from the email. So this is essentially the command coming into the workflow. And then with generation, I'm going to replace this with the response from the Make agent. The timestamp, I'm going to just set this to now. Latency, I don't think we need, so we'll get rid of that. And the thread ID, there's also a thread ID actually within Make agent, which I can use instead here as well. Perfect. And again, any other custom properties or custom values that you want to track can be added within this properties field down here. I'm going to delete this for now though, as it's not needed. So the last thing we need to do before this data is ready to send is to just make sure the prompts and generations are JSON compatible. So typically these prompts and generations can be quite long and there can be line breaks within the string. So we want to replace all line breaks with a \n to make them JSONified. So within here, really simply just going to go into the text functions within make, add the replace function. Going to need to drag the text contents. This is the variable of the prompts that we want to do some manipulation on. And then we want to replace any new line with a \n. We're going to keep that then within the double quotation marks, and then we're going to do the same again with the generation. So replace, drag the variable we want to do some manipulation on, and then replace new line with a \n. And then hit save. Cool, so that's now ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is just send some test data through the scenario, and then we can have a look at some of the results. Awesome, so we can see the make scenarios run successfully, and the HTTP request has successfully sent some data to Trubrics. So now diving into the Trubrics platform, if we head over to the events page, we can see the prompts and generation that was sent just 1 minute ago. So within here, I can see my prompt showing a request saying book a meeting to review the OKRs next Tuesday, and some metadata that goes with that, as well as the generation, which came back from the agent saying the meeting was successfully booked. So if you want to get started with Trubrics, just head over to trubrics.com where you can create an account and get started for free. Thank you very much for watching.